Good morning. This is Malik Mujahid, and welcome to Muslim Network TV. You can always watch us on Galaxy 19 satellite, Amazon Fire TV, Roku, as well as muslimnetwork.tv. And today is a long time, but it seems that a very long-lasting war is about to end. I was in my early 20s when we noticed as a student that there are professors and scholars and students who are coming from Afghanistan to Pakistan. And we were wondering what's going on. And so it was a while ago. Now my children are more than in their 20s, and war is still on. In reality, Afghanistan war has been ending for a while. At least declaration has been saying that, oh, it's going to end and all that. At its peak, there were 150,000 soldiers, foreign soldiers in Afghanistan, 100,000 even American. And now about 8,500 American soldiers, few thousand others, about 10,000 altogether. And President Trump says that he wants to pull all US troop out of Afghanistan by the election, before the election day, actually. I don't know what connection it has with the election, maybe one of his promises. And there is a peace conversation. And in February this year, actually February 29th, peace agreement was signed between Taliban and the US government. Who was missing? Afghan government was missing. That's a curious thing. Afghan President Ashraf Ghani, who has been there for last 6 years as the president, he says that that last month experiment when a peace treaty was achieved between Taliban and the Afghan government for 3 days was excellent experience to celebrate the Eid, end of Ramadan. And they have released 3,000 Taliban prisoners, and they are thinking of doing more. In the meantime, Afghan and Afghanistan continue to suffer. And one of the example is that we were supposed to have a guest right from Afghanistan. And he tried and tried and tried for last 30 minutes, but his connection was not good enough to connect. So Afghanistan was disconnected from the world from many, many ways. Another example is just a few years ago, I don't know what is the exact statistics currently, but a few years ago when I wrote an article, Afghan life expectancy was just 44 years. That's it, 44 years. And they eat more or less the same bread and same curries and same meat as people in bordering countries like Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, and Pakistan and Iran eat. And all of them live 20 to 30 years more than Afghans. So what happened in Afghanistan? That's the question which we'll be wondering and talking about today. And to discuss this with me is our guest, Brother Mohammad Arif. Welcome to Muslim Network TV, Brother Arif. Assalamu alaikum. We need to have your audio on.
Jazakallah khair wa alaikum assalam. Jazakallah khair for inviting me. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Well, Brother Mohammad Arif is now in Columbus, Ohio, but he was born in Afghanistan. He's a graduate of the University of Kabul. And but in those days, he was forced to leave Afghanistan, came to Pakistan in 1978, and moved to US in 1985. And then he studied here at the University of Illinois, Springfield in commerce, in accounting actually, and remained state auditor for the Illinois government for 13 years for IT and financial matters. And now he's IT auditor for state of Ohio since 2004. He is board member and treasurer of the Noor Islamic Cultural Center in Dublin, Ohio. Oh, I thought it's part of Columbus, where is Dublin, Ohio? Not very far, is it?
No, it's a suburb of the Columbus.
Okay. And of course, like all the good Muslim, he is the principal of Sunday school at the mosque with 550 students. So you were a student when you ran away from Afghanistan. Now you're teaching students. What are you teaching?
Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. When we start first actually in Springfield, Illinois, was principal of the Islamic school there also. I came here, same thing.
Okay, so now you need to think of moving back to Illinois.
They are actually the masjid in Springfield, Illinois. They asked me many times, please come back.
Yes, Springfield. I have, good supporter of Sound Vision are there in Springfield. Tell me how you feel about Afghanistan. Do you think war is really over?
I don't think. This war is cannot be over only with the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. With these powers there since the British ran away, and after Russia ran away, then now the Western powers all over there, they have their own plan, and the peace what we're talking is the peace when you mentioned the first time between Taliban and the U.S. Here, then Afghan government was not involved at all. And this piece is, I'm not sure how this will work because the Afghan government was involved in the beginning of the negotiation. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help. We wish to that peace come, but the division they created there in the society based on ethnicity, based on the language, that will last for a long time. And that one, the enemy of the Muslim or the country, different areas, they wanted that division to exist. I'm not sure how long that will last. But we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bring the peace.
Well, we would say you were a very young person in 1978 when you decided to escape Afghanistan to Pakistan. What was happening? What was the situation? This is 2 generations ago. So what were the situation would force you to leave your own place? Have you left Afghanistan before for any reason?
That was the first time to left Afghanistan. I did not travel any place before. I was in university in my last year, the graduation that time. Then we had Dawood, if you remember, there was the president of Afghanistan, which that the coup took and the kings out. Then the time I was there, Dawood was in charge, but he was following the socialist.
So he was connected with the Soviet Union.
Yes, that's true. He was his plan was complete the socialist plan and to implement it, but something changed from the West and from Saudi Arabia process to turn his plan, and that was happened. The coup happened, and with the communist, the Taraki did the coup with the help of the Russian. And when they did, we knew each other, these people, the communists, because in the university, there was already, we knew each other. The day when, first day when they took over the Taraki and the people there, they call a group of Khalq in Persian. These are the communist groups. And they came directly face to face to us because we knew each other. They said, now's our time. And that was the first day on the university when I met, the first day of the coup. And then that was the decision already came to me. It says, you have to get out. And that is, your life's in danger. And my older brother was also graduated from university. He was a teacher. He ran away from the first night. And I didn't know where he is until a year later.
So why with the Soviet Union was directly involved, or the communists were killing people, why people were scared?
Because there was a fight between the communist groups and the Muslim groups in the university. This was big. People is uneducated that time. In the villages, they were not that much education. but the main idea was inside the universities, and they knew each other, and they had fought there. And the minute they come power, they said, "That's it. We get rid of these Muslims."
So
All
they
of them Muslims.
communist and anti-communist. That's how the division was.
Exactly. Then when this happened, then I mentioned I had some close friends in the. I was in Durham in that time, my final years. I told them get out. They did not get out, and I had to get out, run. With help of some people, they took me out. But that was the story, which is long story to go all the way to Pakistan. To reach there in 5 days. And when I found out that the two my friends in the university when they were there, both of them killed by the communists. They were looking for me, but alhamdulillah, I was out.
So there was you made a timely decision.
The decision came one day. The people who knew very good to give me direction. They told me you have to be out, otherwise they have some information, I think, because most people in the government Muslim. There's a few communists, but slowly of course they took over, and that was the news. They came the news to me. They said this people has to be out. That's what they have to get out. But I didn't know how to go to Pakistan. I never been in Pakistan, and they asked me to wear different clothes compared to the area, because each area in Afghanistan, different tribes, different custom, different clothes, the language. I did not know Pashto, how to talk Pashto. Actually my tribe is Pathan, but we lost the language. That was a different language, but we speaking Dari, and that my mother language Dari. Then somebody who speak Pashto, he joined me to help me and guide me, and he was in the university also. And they kind of gave me some medication with me. They said, take this medication on your bags, sit on the bus with me, but we separate. We go to Kunar on the border of Pakistan, Afghanistan area, but the other side is Bajor. If anybody asks you, say, my brother's soldier there. I'm taking this medicine for my brother. that is the way finally we reached to. He had a guide already, somebody in that area, the village, and we reached there to that house, somebody's house, and we stayed there, fight for a few days, and finally we had to run into Pakistan by foot, like the whole day. We reached to Pakistan, the border, just border Bajor, in the evening of the next day.
So if we start comparing 1978, when you were forced to leave by the communist, you being anti-communist in 1978, and now, so for you, this whatever is going on in Afghanistan is more than 20-year story. I mean, in
That's
America,
long, yes.
think of American involvement there, but this is going on for a long period of time.
Yes, that's really long time. That's really long time. A lot of disaster. During the Russians, civilians, people in Afghanistan, over almost 2 million people dead, and million people handicaps. And that's now is after for a long time, since 2001. Now the Western power came there, went there, and that is also almost over 200,000 people died because of this war. Just Afghani people.
Who's keeping the account of how many people are dying? Because this is, we know exactly how many American troops die. But who is keeping account of how many Afghans are dying? Because they are the one who are civilians over there. Rest of them, out of country people, are soldiers.
Of course, there's nobody to count that one, but there was that's estimation, and also people can report at that time each areas, and based on that, and they get it. It's kind of estimated how many people. Of course, there was not central counting to count all of them, because different places, different areas. And I have been during the war in Afghanistan. That's 7 years when I came. And of course, and back in Afghanistan, coming and go back until 85. I came here, US. I have seen myself, people in front of me killed and died and so on. I have seen many dead bodies. But that's reported each area, and some people collected, some newspaper or something like that, and finally they estimated that many people.
So Afghanistan. Okay, there is some sound problem. You're watching Muslim Network TV, and this is Abdul Malik Mujahid talking with Mohammad Arif, who is an Afghan and left Afghanistan 1978 because of threat to his life. And we'll keep talking with him as we come back after this break. Welcome back to Muslim Network TV. This is Abdul Malik Mujahid. I'm talking with Mohammad Arif, who is an Afghan American about the peace. How much of Afghanistan today is controlled by Afghan government?
What I understand it is based because family live there in Afghanistan. The villages also, my family is still there. Actually, most of my family in Afghanistan right now. They control some center of the cities, most areas, but they're also in the center of the cities like Kabul is. You hear the news maybe today. There was a one of the masjid in the morning, the Jummah prayer exploded and killed the imam and killed so many people. That they do not have control out of that specific center of their government. Like each province, they have a center. They have control there. Nighttime come, most of them do not have a control. Out of that, they do not have that much control. Most of what I hear, the Western news telling you, almost 80% of out of the city is controlled by different groups. It's not only Taliban, but there's different groups.
When you say different group, in the world, people already know Taliban. Who are the other groups?
There is right now involved some IS groups, that is more danger than the danger for everyone actually. They have some areas under their control, but most of them is the other areas Taliban.
So these are foreigners, or these are Afghans who have joined ISIS?
And they are Afghans joined the IS.
And they control some areas as well.
Yes. Yes.
So America signing peace treaty with Taliban does not necessarily mean that other people will stop fighting then.
Exactly, that's what I mentioned before. If Taliban sign agreement, what I completely got the news from back home, from my family there, in the village they are living, and they said there is, they never, when they signed the agreement, after that they stopped fighting American soldiers, but they were still fighting the government. The fighting was going on. Fighting did not stop, but they will not attack the bases of the American soldiers. That is Taliban and the government, and the fighting continued. ISIS does not care. ISIS talk was fighting every place. Since this signed agreement, so many bomb explosion in Kabul is come, and IS is doing it, and also in the Nangarhar many places, which is deconcentrating these areas. I'm not sure this peace agreement how will help the Afghani people.
So the people who attacked today at the mosque, when people were praying, now Taliban claim to be religious people, and so attack on a mosque, is it because of different ethnic group or because of different religious sect? Why attack on a mosque?
Actually, the Taliban claim, they said they are not responsible for that. Most of these right now is they have done it before. I'm talking since the final agreement right now was this ISIS is accepting the responsibility. They are not. These a few. This explosion came at this month. Most of them is not. There's no ethnicity issues. They are hitting the people, talking the leaders who's asking for the peace. The people should not fight. This happened as today's also mentioned this, and about 3 or 4 days ago, one of the leader, big, very sheikh, and he was alim, and he was a very good speaker. He had a PhD, and he was giving speech that please, we have to do a peace in Afghanistan. Fighting will not help. And he said, maybe after this my talk, maybe this my last one. And the next day, he was killed.
My goodness. So his speech was for peace.
Yes.
And he knew the risk of speaking up for peace.
Yes.
And that became his last speech.
That exactly, he said, maybe this my last speech, and they killed him the next day.
Whoa.
In the masjid.
Oh my goodness! And who claimed the responsibility?
ISIS.
And what was the name of this scholar?
Sheikh, I forgot his name actually.
Okay. So, but
Yeah,
you recognize the scholar there.
Oh yeah, it's very famous. It's on the Facebook right now, every place. A lot of people was crying for that one. I'm talking not one-sided, all Afghani people.
But okay, so it's not just the government. He was not a government guy, and he was just an independent person.
Yes, he was not a government guy. No, he was long time ago belonged to Jamiat Islami. If you hear the groups, he was belonged to Jamiat Islami groups. But this one is he was one very good alim. He was very good speaker
and respected by all type of
very
people.
respected from all sides. Yes.
So will these type of action, Afghan people in general will know that ISIS is responsible and they will turn against ISIS?
People of Afghanistan is what happened is there's some area, of course, people are against it, but some area, our government, beside the U.S. soldier, what they there, the damage they have done to civilians. They bombed the villages, which was not supposed. The civilian there died, and these people, of course, they will go talk nice to them. They said, "Look here, all of you killed because of so on." Some of them, that's why the younger was some of younger one joining them, because they take the revenge. But this is what happened because their family dead, their mother dead, their father dead, or somebody dead, and they want to take a revenge. And yes, we are joining there. And they are bringing these people.
Oh, so people who were killed by the Afghan government, their relatives are joining ISIS because they want to take a revenge.
Yes.
My goodness. So preacher of peace are being targeted right now. So peace may be good for for American soldiers and American government that they withdraw themselves. But the legacy of communism and civil war and Taliban and then American invasion and the current government, that legacy will continue.
Oh, yes, that's true. I'm not sure how long then. That's I mentioned. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help to bring the peace there.
I mean, that's the reason Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in his last sermon, last sermon or earlier, he declared all revenges are dead. I forgive all the people who have harmed and killed any of my people. And there is no longer a revenge as an institution which will exist, because without that authority, the cycle of revenge will never end.
Yes, that's true. That's true. That's the other issue is because people is that economic wise, people no job. People finish graduation. For example, my family, so many of them graduated from university. They do not have a job. They cannot find any job. People no job. No, the life is really difficulty. The items to buying is like more expensive than US. Some items. And I don't know how they survived. And some of them is the only chance to
Give
get
me an
some money.
example of what items will be costlier than US.
For example, gasoline is more expensive than here.
What thing?
Gasoline,
Okay,
gasoline, gasoline is more expensive than here. Items for flour that's the main thing they eat, the bread. The
bread.
flour was, for example, one sack of flour was like this is I'm saying was before this coronavirus actually. Before coronavirus was like a thousand Afghanis, something like one sack, and that's right now is double priced. And some people is they cannot find food, difficulty, and especially the coronavirus affect all of them because the lockdown and the job, and people is not like here to work from home like me and some other people. We are sitting home working from home, but they don't have that option there, and they are not a government job. Most of them is they working daily per hour work, and they do not have that one, and they are suffering really disaster right
So, so you're saying some of the younger people, they are motivated by, taking a revenge of the people killed by the government, and ISIS is benefiting from it. ISIS are a bunch of crazy people. I mean, these people simply have no rules. They don't even follow the teaching of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and very horrible type of people. I mean, we all are aware of that. So they, are not found in many parts of the world any longer. But in Afghanistan, they are there, and they are in conflict with Taliban. They're in conflict with the Afghan government. Are they the one who people think are the hardest and the strongest and the more powerful? Because sometimes young people, in the in the gang warfare, the tougher you are, the better you are considered, and
now.
people will join you because you're tough, and yet they continue to demonstrate their toughness. So, is that the situation with them?
This is the toughness and also the scary. They're scaring people. They're killing the people the way and destroying the people houses the way they kill it. That people completely scared. In some areas, government does not have any control, and Taliban that not there because one time there was a fight between Taliban and ISIS. But the area, some area, village in the mountain area, there nobody controls it. And this ISIS controlling it because they scare the people. They no choice for them. You cannot control it. If you want not give this, they destroy your home. And that's the people. Some of them joined there also. But only my question is, uh, from where they get the weapons? How they get the weapons? Who gave them the weapons? There are some videos came about a year ago when the first time ISIS before it about a little bit. There was some question as some helicopters was their video on it, but they took out that videos. There's some videos helicopter coming dropping weapons for them. Who's these people? This is the question. Somebody should. Some people knows exactly who's this, why these people coming, who's giving the weapons. Otherwise, if nobody, everybody stop the weapons, they cannot fight. They have all this support someplace from some people.
So, what is the possibility that all the foreign powers who have fought there, Soviet Union now turn into Russia, and the United States or India or Pakistan, who people are suspecting supporting and giving arms to ISIS?
The, the people in Afghanistan is the people what you're thinking about the support for them is coming because they don't these some foreign countries are the people who does not want to bring a peace in Afghanistan. They want to keep them divided, and they have to fight that was the way to control Afghanistan. We cannot point exactly to because I don't have that evidence on my hand. But sometimes the government had some evidence, but they just hide it.
You're watching Muslim Network TV. We're always there on Galaxy 19 satellite, as well as MuslimNetwork.tv, Roku, as well as Amazon Fire TV. We'll be right back after these messages. Welcome back to Muslim Network TV. This is Malik Mujahid, and I'm talking with Brother Arif, who is from Columbus, Ohio. And here's a life of a struggle. I mean, when you were a young man, you left Afghanistan because of war, and the war is something which is still going on. Tell us, are Afghans in this situation that acquiring food is difficult, and government is limited to just city centers? Rest of the areas are either controlled by Taliban, which is probably the largest area. According to research, it says 50% of Afghanistan is controlled by Taliban. Rest is controlled by other people. So Taliban and Americans have reached peace with each other. They are not attacking each other. I'm assuming that. Rest of the people are free to fight off. So what Afghan poor people are doing? Are they still going to Pakistan?
No, they are not going. They are kind of, when we ask them, some of them, they're saying that this is our life. Pakistan is not allowed them to come there because they completely block the border. The only thing you can go Pakistan, you have to have a visa. Before, long time ago, there was no visa issues. Now you have to have a visa, passport, and that will cost money also. People, it's very difficult to get surviving to get a passport. Visa is a difficulty, and also there's a limitation.
Okay. So
there's a limitation on the border how many people can come.
The people who came as a refugee to Pakistan, I mean, the United Nations and all that, they're saying there is still about 2 million plus Afghan refugees in Pakistan. But these are not the recent people we are saying. These are the people who came long time ago and they are still in Pakistan. Or some of them are going back to Afghanistan or coming back to Pakistan?
There is some people go, but they have a limited time. Usually they give them visa for 6 months. Like there's one family of my family right now in Pakistan, one of my sister. They go, they give them visa for 6 months. They can go for 6 months Pakistan. They have to go back to renew their visa. But the rest of the people who live there, some of them went back, and they have a difficulty to survive. And I'm not sure you have seen it that during the winter on the cold. Afghanistan is very cold. Kabul is very cold winter time. They were living in the tent and on that cold weather, and that's difficult to survive. But they have no choice because Pakistan is also pushing them to have to go back home, back their country. They offer them sometimes some compensation. They could go, but some of them went back, and some of them came back also. But that's different right now. But most of the people live there. That's their life right now.
There was a time when refugees in Pakistan were involved, directly being trained by Americans and CIA and to fight the Soviet Union. Then some of them joined Taliban. Are refugees in Pakistan is still part of what goes on in terms of armed conflict in Afghanistan, or they are now detached from Afghan conflict? Because, you know, the people who came, say, in at least late 70s or early 80s, if they were, 10-year-old, now they're old people.
Yes, yes.
Their children probably have no idea what Afghanistan is.
That's true. That's true.
So are they still connected some ways?
There is some connection. The Taliban started from the refugee camps in the beginning. They started, and they have the headquarters was in Quetta, Balochistan, and they still on the way on Pakistan to come, like from Kabul or from Turkham, they call it Turkham border. You have to have visa and passport. But if you go through Balochistan area, or Kandahar and Quetta, there is no visa. They are free to go and come back.
Oh, they officially free to go and come back, or it just unofficially they have no way to control the border?
They just left it. They're not asking for a passport, no visa. And I did not know about this one until about 4 months ago. I found out because one of my niece want to come to Pakistan, And because her father was some kind of disease, they cannot treat it in Afghanistan. He has to come to Pakistan, but they couldn't get a visa. Difficult to get visa, and the only option that somebody told him, because that was a long way to go and danger way, because you have to go through Kandahar to Quetta to all the way come to Peshawar, and they went there without visa. There was no asking for visa at all. There was no visa. There was no passport issue, and they came to Pakistan. And that is later on I found out.
So there are soldiers on the border, but they don't ask for visa.
Yes, there's no required to have a visa or passport. You can come. But some other areas, yes, Turkham areas, the other main area, that's when you have to have a visa.
That's very interesting.
And you mentioned about the involvement of the refugees. Of course, that area is no control. Who's involved with the Taliban? Because that is the shura of the Taliban council was located in Quetta, Balochistan, and they could go and come back. That's no problem.
And probably that area is controlled by Taliban also.
Kandahar is the main area. Just the city, of course, got some government. The out of the city is most of them. That's the main part of Taliban.
One of the things which is regularly mentions that Taliban, when they were in power, there was no corruption in the government, and now there is huge corruption. No matter which article you read about Afghanistan, they talk about the corruption of the government. So I have two questions with you. Since your family is there, you're aware and you're kind of well connected. Number one question is that is Afghan government more corrupt than any other government? Because corruption is all over the world. This is one question. Second thing, is it really true that Taliban were not corrupt as compared to this government?
The Afghanistan government right now is the corrupt government, I should say, compared to so many in the world. Very corrupt. You cannot get anything without you have to give a bribe. Your right is something, you have the right to have it, you cannot get it. You have to have a bribe. That is the difficulty for the Afghani people. There is no other option. You have to get a bribe, or you have to stay on the line. If you want to see a special somebody in the government, you have to have a bribe. The other thing is, for example, about this 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, there was help from different countries for the issue of, because people could not have food. That I mentioned, coronavirus, people stopped working, and there was some aids came to distribute it to these people, but the aids all went to the people who had the control in the government. Regular people did not get it. Now, talking about Taliban, and this has happened to myself directly. I'm not talking. I will tell you the story. What happened to me? One time I was there, went for a visit long time ago during the Taliban time. But I was from Pakistan, went there for a week in Kabul, and coming back was my my brother-in-law. On the way to come back, we gave the money to the bus. It was not big bus, they call it minibus. Was comfortable, a non-stop was coming. It was a little more expensive than the regular bus, but I pay for it, and we sat down. We reached to Nangarhar, they call it, from that one between Nangarhar and the Turkham border, and there's two Taliban, or three of them came with the weapon and stopped the bus. And they asked the bus driver, how much you charge these people? They want to make sure they have to follow the rate they have set up. And the bus driver did not say anything, just keep quiet. I did not know, because I'm from outside, I'm a foreigner, kind of far, they know I'm foreigners. And I sat in there, and bus driver did not answer. Finally, he asked the people, how much did you pay, each of you? Nobody want to answer. And I answered myself, because I said, okay, tell you how much they charge. When I said, he said, this is more than the rate we set up. He took all the money from the bus driver and counted how many passengers and gave them the rate they have that money back to the bus driver. The rest of them distributed back to the people. He said, now you can go.
Oh my goodness. And you were in there.
I was there, and later on, I thought bus driver will kill me because I thought I had to tell the truth. Because, but this was the have done there. People for Juma pray was going. You can leave your shop open, nobody could touch it. You go your Juma pray and come back, nobody could touch it. Now, people can kill you for your phone. And
so the myth about that Taliban days there was a law and order is you're saying from your experience is correct.
yes, yes.
So do you think these are the same Taliban? They may have been corrupted also.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's right now. I'm not sure.
So you think Afghan government is more corrupt than other governments? Would you say that?
Yes. The government does not have any control. Anybody who has power in each area, ministry and so on, and they do everything. Nobody has control. Ashraf Ghani tried himself many times to control, but he was not successful. Many times.
Tell me this: how many Afghans are there in United States?
I'm not sure exactly the count. I did not look for that one. I'm guessing maybe around 500,000.
Are they together, or do they have one position vis-a-vis Afghanistan? How to bring peace in Afghanistan?
I don't believe, but may Allah want to help. But there is, of course, division will start from there. That division exists here, some areas, and I have seen it in California, and I have seen it I hear it in New York, but I have seen it in California. Afghani people are there. Some group has based on ethnicity or based on what group they used to be, Jamiat or Hizb or so on. And they have different masjid. You're not going to another masjid. Kind of this conflicts going on here too.
So the division in Afghanistan are reflected in America.
Yes, yes.
So, Brother Arif, you are leader of Masjid al-Noor. Light is in that mosque. What about you starting a peace movement in America among Afghans, which then agreed on some principle, and then you guys can ensure that Afghanistan has peace?
Alhamdulillah, we have here in Columbus, Ohio, we have around, I would say, around 250 family Afghanis, and Alhamdulillah, we do not have any issue of this division here. But some area, the paper I'm mentioned, New York and California, there's some division. That's not new. That has been from a long time ago. But we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bring us in the right path and this peace, inshallah. We asking, we don't have any choice. We're asking, we cannot do anything, no power, we don't have any power, but we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help to bring the peace in Afghanistan and make the people.
Yeah, but every dua, you need to have effort. So there need to be Afghan peace movement in America as well.
That's true. I hope something will happen.
So what about getting leaders of all top factions here and calling their summit? And so 5 leaders from each group comes together, or initially maybe 1 leader from each group. They have conversation and they establish Afghan peace movement in America. And, who knows? Because God wants to see that if you're just asking him to do something, because God is not on your assignment. We are on God's assignment. He asked us to يَقُومَ النَّاسُ بِالْقِسْطِ, help people stand up for peace, justice, fairness, and equity. So it is, excuse me, our effort, and then we can expect blessing from him. What do you think about that?
I agree with you. And they have this done before also. They have a meeting in New York, and also the big meeting was in California before, and the issue of this peace and so on. But unfortunately, there was, it said this in my way, and same thing what happened, like, and Afghans look, the election, Ashraf Ghani, completely based, I'm not sure what kind of election, but I'm not going to that one. But election, he announced it, he won completely the whole election. But what happened, another government by Abdullah created, and In our country, government from here, they will make them two king actually. How it's possible to bring the two king run a country? And that division still exists here. And we had this gathering before, and was not successful because this division.
One of the is the neighboring countries. What is the role of neighboring countries in Afghan politics? I mean, one is Soviet Union, one is United States. Soviet Union is gone. United States have peace with Taliban, and they want to withdraw before the election. But there are other powers who continuously probably take interest in Afghan affair. What is the role of China? What China is doing there?
Of course, the China, Iran, Pakistan, I'm saying all the borders, the few countries, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, we have so many countries right now on the border of Afghanistan. They have their own interest. They have, China was on the main things because China want to control the economy. And you know that Afghanistan is full of treasure, the minerals and so on. And I don't know how many of them is already took it out. Different countries, but they have big interest there. And China has signed agreement with the copper. Afghanistan, one of the main mining for copper, the biggest one. And China is now controlling that one. They signed agreement with that. And also Iran has their own political influence. It's not only about the group of Shia and so on, but of course to have influence, control it, and this is going on. And same thing, all the neighborhoods, same situation.
So what about the conflict? Because Pakistan was the major supporter of Taliban, right, along with Saudi Arabia and the United States. Then it turned against Taliban because of the American insistence. What is the situation of Pakistan, which is in competition with India, because India has its interest? And we keep hearing about competition of Pakistan and India in Afghanistan. What do you know about that? Is the Afghan people more inclined to have relationship with India as compared to Pakistan?
That's the trend is right now. The government is, the people there is most want to get support from India, and that's the creation tension there between Pakistan and India from the beginning, because India does not want to have all Pakistan control completely, and both sides right now they're playing some politics there.
So, so do you think once America leaves on before election day in November, world will be paying attention to U.S. election, and then there is a Christmas and all that. Do you think a major civil war will break out? Do you think Taliban are going to launch a major attack to control Kabul? Because whoever control Kabul's control Afghanistan, right? More or less.
Yes. The agreement what they reach. First of all, I'm not sure they will get off from Afghanistan. I'm not sure they're announcing, but I'm not sure they will get out. Based on that, election is coming November, but they were talking about almost 1.5 years to part to leave. The bases they built is not bases, temporary bases, the kind of permanent bases they built there. This is another issues how they will get out there. And the second one is I'm not thinking a major war. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep them safe on that one to not come major war. But the agreement what come, which U.S. pushing the Afghanistan government to agree to that one, to come share the responsibility in the government. If that share come, there will be, inshallah, there will be no major war. But if they not agree, that of course there will be some war. But I don't. People is tired of this fighting and killing.
Well, we consider your prediction to be a dua and say amin to it. Thank you so much, Mohammad Arif, for your time. And you were what, 20-year-old when you left Afghanistan, right?
I was, yes, something like that. Yes, you're right. You're right.
So it has been a more than your lifetime struggle is going on there, and I hope it brings peace to Afghanistan. If compromise is not a dirty word, if Taliban and America can compromise with each other, I hope Taliban and the government can compromise with each other
I
to
hope.
bring peace to Afghanistan. Thank you so much. Truly
Yeah.
appreciate
Thank
it.
you so much for asking to join it. Jazakallah khair.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. This
Wow.
is Malik Mujahid, your host at Muslim Network TV today. You can always watch us on Galaxy 19 satellite. If you don't have a satellite, don't worry. MuslimNetwork.tv. We're there always. MuslimNetwork.tv. Or if you have Amazon Fire, we're on Amazon Fire. If you have Roku TV, we're on Roku TV. And pretty soon we'll be on Apple TV as well. So thank you so much for joining us. We're there 24/7. It is the only Muslim American television out there. Thank you to our intern producer, Sumaya Haider, for producing today's program. And thank you, Zahra Nadeem, our producer, and our supervising producer, Connor Mays. Thank you so much. Sorry, we wanted to bring someone from Afghanistan. We tried our best, but connection was not good enough. Peace. Salam.